Welcome to Global Domination Live. My name is Lisa Marie Wand, and I'm here with my fabulous co-host, Stephanie Gilezan. And we spent the last 2 decades growing and scaling our real estate businesses. Most real estate agents think small, just their local city, area, or neighborhood. And we say, why not think big and take your business to a whole new level? And EXP offers opportunities for you to take your local business to a national and global scale. So welcome to our show. And today we have Dan Klatt, the church guy. Welcome, Dan.
I love it, Dan.
Thank you.
When we talk about global domination, everybody's like, what are they talking about global domination? Well, what we're talking about is the ability to do real estate, to do transactions, like Lisa Marie said, not just in that local neighborhood that you're used to. We're thinking across the United States, and we're thinking across the globe. And I can't think of a better person that has come to EXP Commercial and has truly taken your niche of a business, the church guy, and expanded it. So before we go into that, tell us who you are and what it is you do, and why do we call you the church guy?
Well, I had a career change because of health. I left my former industry, which was the collision repair industry. And someone suggested to me, because I had bought and sold a number of auto body shops, to be a business broker. So I thought I'd try that. And I really didn't care for it. I didn't care for business brokerage. It was okay doing my own, but I didn't like doing anyone else's. And so I didn't see a future in real estate for myself. So I decided to just let my license expire and go look for something else. And right after I made that decision, my own pastor called me. And he said, the board has decided to sell our church property, and you can list it for us, can't you? And I hesitated a little bit, but I said, yeah, I can sell it. And in my mind, I was thinking, I can do this project while I'm looking for my next career. And what I discovered was that the real estate industry and even the appraisal industry haven't really wrapped their arms around doing churches in a real consistent way and really catering to the needs of the churches, because they have a lot of different needs than other real estate clients. And so during the process, I learned that nobody knew how to value the churches. They were kind of just take the pastor's lead. If they want to list it for $3 million, okay, well, we'll list it for $3 million. Nobody really knew how to establish values, and even the appraisers. And so I developed a system on how to do that, which makes it easy. And I did that on my very first property that was our own church that I sold. And I haven't changed that formula since then. It was 20 years ago, and I haven't changed that formula. It works really well. And I've taught a bunch of appraisers and commercial professionals how to use that formula so that they can get their arms around their church deals. So
your reputation preceded you. So as soon as you came to EXP Commercial, you're in my state, I'm your broker. I hear about this church guy, and I'm like, I got to meet this guy. So he told me that very same story. So it's so interesting that you just by a whisper almost missed a successful career in commercial real estate.
Yep. Yeah. And it started a big journey. And so since I came to EXP now, because agents don't know how to handle churches, I put a post out there on Workplace, our communication tool. And I think we're nearing about 80 agents that I'm working with across the country on church deals.
Wow.
And some of them I'm just getting to know the agents. I'm just doing an onboarding process, but I think you've seen a few referrals come through, and there's more in the
Yes.
oven that are being written as we speak.
And that's what we're talking
pretty
about
exciting.
as far as being able to scale your business out of your own backyard into a national or even a global organization. And that's why we have this show, is to talk about how you can do that at EXP. And I know, Stephanie, you've got something on your mind.
Well, and that's what I love about this. And that's why we wanted to have you on, because it is that perfect example of what we speak about, every other week when we do global domination and how we can scale our business. I've done the exact same thing since bringing my entire team over to EXP over 4.5 years ago, and utilizing the ability that we are this one brokerage, no matter if we're in Nevada, Kentucky, Spain, France, Canada, and all the places that EXP is doing business. And so prior to EXP, Dan, how are you having to build your business in the church? Were you just focused on Nevada? Were you just focused on a handful of zip codes? Explain that to us.
Well, Southern Nevada is separate from Northern Nevada because we have two population centers. And so my practice, even though I could have done business up in the northern part of the state, there's quite a bit of distance between us, and it's not that easy unless you have a base
People.
already. But the churches in Las Vegas have kept me busy because there's about 450 churches in Las Vegas, and somewhere around 15% of them are clients of mine at all times. So as I get rid of some, I get new ones, and they just kind of go on a rotating basis, and they've kept me really busy. It isn't really like I needed to work with 80 agents across the country on top of what I got going in Vegas. However, I hired a VA and I systematized a few things, and it's working. So
absolutely.
Yeah. And the agents that I'm working with are excited to be able to have answers for their clients.
Well, and what I love about that, oh, sorry, Lisa Marie. What I love about that, Dan, is that, yes, you were fine. You didn't need to have a change. But if you can, and you have the ability, you've got the skills, because like you said, selling these churches are a formula, right? It doesn't matter if they're in Beverly Hills or Timbuktu Hills. It's a formula. It all makes sense. So why not? Why not have more? So Lisa Marie, go right ahead.
Yeah, what I wanted to ask you, Dan, is because, like Stephanie said, you were just fine and happy working in the Las Vegas area, which was your region. And now you've had the opportunity to explode and work with 80 other agents. And you've only been here for how long with the EXP Commercial? Less than a year, right?
I started February 1.
Okay. So it's been
So 8 months.
6 months or so. So in 6 months, you've been able to take your business from Las Vegas local and working with those few hundred churches to now 80 agents across the country. And EXP is what gave you the opportunity or provided you the platform to do that. So tell us how that's changed your life for the better and your business for the better.
Well, it's really exciting. We, like I said, we've systematized things, and like most people's CRM, our CRM was a little bit garbaged up and with more information that it needed and not enough information in other areas. And so putting on the VA because of the extra volume, she's working on the CRM, she's working on marketing, and then she's doing property searches too. I've been teaching her how to do property searches. And it's a whole lot less pressure because handling all of the new commercial or the new communication traffic, lots of communications, lots of emails. And I spend my life on Zoom today, teaching agents how to do and what to do and the next steps and all that type of stuff. So for the better, I mean, I can see that the future is bright. Right now, I'm spending more time and money on the business than I'm getting out of it. But this is just the beginning. It's just a few months in, and I've already got 80 agents, and it's pretty, it just blows me away. It blows me away. So Chicky and I, my wife, have always had a vision of possibly expanding out because I've written a lot of materials. I could teach a college course on how to do churches, but we didn't really have an outlet or a mechanism to make it happen. And really in the back of my mind, I thought, well, it'd be nice to expand, but I doubt if I'll ever really actually do it. When EXP came along, and that was the suggestion, was, Dan, your specialty would really fit well in EXP. You could work with agents all across the country who need you. And she was right. That was Beth Mickley that invited me to EXP.
Yeah, Beth was definitely right. So we thank Beth and Beth's a great person in Arizona. And we thank Beth for bringing Dan, because, this is why we do this show, is because we want everyone to see clear truth of who it's working for and how it's working for people. To have boots on the ground and to have access to people, that's one thing. But also at EXP Commercial, we honor license portability like no other brokerage can, because we are that one company. So we operate in all 50 states. We employ designated managing brokers in those states. And where license portability at the state licensing level is available, we give agents the ability to do those deals because we have that. And so if Dan doesn't have to physically be boots on the ground, let's say in Florida, which he doesn't hold that Florida license, but they honor license portability. EXP is open for business there. Dan can still do that transaction and keep all of his commission without having to go out and co-broker. So prior to EXP, Dan would have had to find a broker in Florida to do that deal with, which then means he had to open up his relationship to somebody else, which we all know what happens there. If they don't know as much as Dan, they're going to ruin the deal, or they're going to not do the client the service level that Dan expects. And so that's what I like about this. But then also too, with the 88 agents you've already are doing business with, that's because of the instant 85,000 residential agents that have what? Church relationships. These agents have commercial relationships. They have business relationships. And they're looking to Dan and everyone else at EXP Commercial to do exactly what we all want: referrals, instant referrals. So Dan doesn't have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars in marketing trying to land every church relationship that exists in the United States of America. I don't even know if we know that number, Dan. I bet you probably have a good clue as to how many churches exist out there. But think about how easy it is. Okay, 50, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So think about that. In order, instead of spending thousands upon thousands of marketing each month trying to build relationships with these churches, go to the residential agents at EXP Realty who are already building relationships at those churches. It's genius, Dan.
That's one of our secret sauces, is that portability, being able to do business everywhere, anytime, at a very high level. Because of course, I know Dan pretty well. I'm getting to know him over the last 6 months, and he has a high level. He likes to do business at a high level, like Stephanie and I do. And so that idea or that dream that you and your wife Chicky had of maybe we could expand at some point, this business model at EXP Commercial has actually allowed you to do that in a very short period of time. Almost probably to the point where you're going, holy smokes, there's so much opportunity here. Is that true, Dan?
Oh, yeah. I'm just hanging on.
A rocket ride.
Yeah, I've been doing some long hours to keep up with everybody, even though I've got the extra help. It's just a lot of volume, but it's incredibly fun.
But see, that is to keep scaling, to keep leveraging other people to specialize and focus in certain areas so you can continue to grow your business. Because I know that, Stephanie and I know that you're beginning to understand that the sky's the limit as far as how large you can grow your business here. And you talked about workplace. Is that your favorite tool? Because that's how you've been able to grow your relationships, is through our Facebook like internal communication. What is it that you like about Workplace, and what other tools have helped you scale your business at EXP Commercial?
Yeah, Workplace is so cool because you don't have anybody that's not EXP in there. It belongs to us. And so even though it just belongs to us, there's still 80 some thousand people on there that all, work at EXP. And so you can communicate instantly. You can do chats or do posts. I formed a group there called Church Guy Network, and I've got a number of members, of just about 50 members in there in just a few weeks. And it's a lot of fun. And watching the referrals, watching someone post a need, and then watching 2 or 3 people post potential solutions or connections to meet that need. And you can just see it live happening, and that's really, really cool. So you might not be able to be involved in every one of those deals, but when they come up too, and you get tagged a lot, I get lots of private messages, and that's how a lot of agents, they hear about me and then they just send me a little private chat. And then when I get a chance, I open it, and I'm in Workplace about a half a dozen times a day because I enjoy it. And it's built my business. It really has built my business.
I have a lot of conversations with guys and gals in commercial real estate about EXP. And, they're like, well, I'm with a global brand. I'm with a national name. And I'm like, but you don't understand what we are. And it's because we've taken these 85,000 agents all over the globe that grows at the tune of about 500 agents a week. And we've put them in this place called Workplace. We've put them inside of EXP World. And so when we talk about how easy it is to land business, to receive referrals, to even give out referrals, I'm the type of person that, and I say this often, I don't like multifamily. I mean, it's great and people love that. They love that. But I refer all my multifamily opportunities away. I just don't want to deal with it. I have the right, and I just like, here you go. Here you go. That's what I love about what we've built at EXP, is because it is that easy to do business. It is that easy to grow and scale a business. Even coming into this company and having absolutely zero business, we watch people every single day end up with immediate business because we have people like yourself that are mentoring, that are teaching juniors to do the, Lisa Marie, Educator of the Year or Instructor of the Year. We're building these things and systems so that we all win, because the truth of the matter is no matter if Lisa Marie and Dan are in Nevada and I'm in Kentucky, the truth is we're all business partners because we own a piece of this company. We haven't touched on that, Dan, but you were in the business 20 years prior to EXP.
Mm-hmm.
Your last firm, we don't have to say who that was, but did they ever give you any ownership?
No ownership.
How much did you pay them? How much did you pay your broker?
So I had a pretty good deal
because
of my reputation. The broker let me in on a 90-20 split.
90-10?
90-10, sorry. 90-10. Yeah. So that was a pretty good deal. And then he split CoStar with me and a couple other agents. So I paid $250 a month. Same thing I pay at EXP for all of the other apps. I probably would have been just happy to stay there forever. We got along great, and I was there for about 14, 15 years.
Wow.
And so we got along great. But when EXP came along, it was like all this opportunity. I mean, there was no comparison,
Yeah.
I would have never thought that I would have been so impressed, but I'm glad I took a minute to take a look and kind of understand. And I'm a learnaholic. If I'm going to look at something, I really look at it. So my first EXP experience was EXP Con last year, and Beth snuck me into the commercial presentation that you and Jim did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just there for that presentation and then out. And but then I thought about it all the way through December, and then decided to do it, and then made it happen in February. So I don't move fast. I think about, try and plan well.
Yeah.
I am not disappointed, not disappointed at all. So
you did
Well,
go ahead, Stephanie.
Well, I just wanted to touch on something really quick because I get that often. Not, the average commercial practitioners paying a 50-50, 60-40 split, right? Very few have the deal that you left, which was a 90-10, where you paid the brokerage 10%. But that 10% was continuous, and what I always tell people, especially is yeah, we're an 80-20 split, but when that 20% equals $20,000, you're 100%. You are 100%. And so, because we've attracted a lot of people, with these small splits, but they've paid 54,000 in fee to their broker. They've 150,000, 300,000, and it keeps going on and on and on. So I just wanted to throw that in there, Lisa Marie.
Yes, especially in the commercial world, we know, like I'll be out, showing property and doing deals, and just ask one of these agents or brokers, so how much did you pay to your broker in the last 12 months? And when they find out I paid $20,000, which in commercial real estate could be one deal, you could cap in one deal for an entire year. The other thing, though, is that because EXP is a publicly traded company, we're not a franchise, we're not a local brokerage. EXP does some things that I've never seen any other real estate brokerage in the world do before. And that is what Stephanie touched on, is giving you ownership in the company, not only in earning stock at various stages as you go along. You can purchase stock at a discount and become even more of an owner. So you can earn stock, you can purchase stock. And then there's the revenue share. So you want to talk about that, Stephanie?
The thing about, for any of you who don't know this, prior to EXP, I was my own independent owner broker. Prior to that, I owned a franchise, and prior to that, I was an independent owner broker. So I have always owned a real estate brokerage. I've always been one that has grown that brokerage. As the owner, I had all the liability. I was the bank. I was the trainer. I was the innovator. I was the everything that real estate company needed to be. And without me, it wasn't a real estate company, because I held the license to keep it running. And so when I saw EXP, one of the very first things that I saw in the model was not only an instant way overnight that I could be in all 50 states at once, but I could still play that ownership role. We all own something because we want to earn money, right? I mean, that's the truth of it. I owned my own brokerage because I wanted overrides on agents. But that's what I love about this company is I earn stock, I'm an owner. And as I attract agents into the company, I get to share in the revenue, not the profit, the revenue. But now I don't have the liability. I'm not the innovator. I don't have to go out and be the bank, making sure that I'm paying all the bills, even if the agents aren't producing. And so instead of earning income on a handful of agents, and one of my largest companies that I owned at one time had 221 agents. And I always went home and I said, oh my God, I think I'm running a daycare, because everybody's at all different levels. They just are. Love agents, love real estate. It's all I've ever done. But sometimes when you're by yourself and it's all the weight is right here, that's the hardest part, is to always find the energy to answer every single question and to be 93 places at once so that your agents are happy. And here at EXP, I now earn revenue on over 700 agents. They are not just here with me in Louisville, Kentucky, like they were before. They are scattered throughout the United States and 4 different countries. And what I love about that is my good friends, our good friends, and our business partners right now that are in Southwest Florida, who have literally had their business put on hold because of that awful hurricane and destruction that is happening. And I love that they're able to text me and reach out and go, oh my God, I am so grateful for EXP because I am still getting revenue every single month, even though real estate is not transacting down here. And we all know, being in real estate, when you put a pause on your business, that pause is not just for then. It goes for many, many months out because closings take that long. And so destruction like Hurricane Ian, COVID, where so many of our business partners got sick and couldn't be around people. They couldn't go out and transact. They couldn't find the energy to drum up business. Revenue share brought them through. But I think even above that is I found a way that I couldn't find before. Being that independent broker owner, I could never find my exit strategy. But today, and I'm not going anywhere, because I'm only 45, only 45. God, isn't that weird how I say only 45? But if I did decide to wake up tomorrow and say, I want to retire, I can. After 4.5 years at EXP, I absolutely can do that, because the revenue I'm making monthly on all these wonderful business partners and agents that I have across the country is enough to sustain the lifestyle that I've always wanted myself and my kids to have. This is what global domination is about. This is why we want to bring real messages, real conversations, and real people to share with you all, because it's not just looking at where can I go to do more transactions, or where can I go to better learn lead generation, or where can I go to truly learn how to build my sphere of influence. Yes, this is all those things, but it's more than that. Aren't you ready to be an owner? Aren't you ready to earn more than just what you're making on transactions? Aren't you ready to have an exit strategy? That's what this is about. That's what EXP is. And I'm proud to be a part of it. So thanks for letting me stand on this soapbox. I'll get back down now.
I love, one of the things I love that you said, and I'd like to hear your experience on this, Dan, is that Stephanie, I also was an independent broker owner for many years. And it's like being on an island all by yourself with the weight of the world on your shoulders. And all of a sudden now we have the opportunity to connect with a global family, and also to learn and gain experience from the best of the best of the best, the top producers in real estate across the world. So being able to go from being siloed into your little market where you are, feeling maybe by yourself, feeling like you have a lot of responsibility, and now coming into this company where you can be an owner, where you can have stock, you can actually have affordable health care, which I would say probably 50% of real estate professionals don't have. I know we have an actual number, but I think it's even low. And so you can take care of yourself and have an exit strategy. So Dan, what are your thoughts on all of that and how that's impacted you, or the idea of that, the potential for that?
So I'll share a little contrast with you. You mentioned the 220 agents, and you feel like you've got a 220 member family that you're taking care of. And that's the way I felt in the auto body business. Because when I was here, I had in the first shop I opened, I had 26 employees. It was kind of maxed out at 26. But it was like, you're involved in, I got to take my dog to the vet and everything, everything in their life, you've got to be involved in. And so it is really cool. So here's the contrast. 75, 80 people that I'm onboarding right now, they're all professionals. They've already paid their dues to be in the industry, and I don't need to babysit them. They come and they ask very good questions and want to know what the next steps are. And they're not out there bumping around and making mistakes and then coming crying, saying, oh, this is what I did, such a contrast. So it's really nice to work with a whole country full of professionals. And I literally am like way up in North Dakota to Texas to Connecticut to LA, it's just Florida, quite a few in Florida. So it's pretty cool.
It's like your dream come true. You and Chicky talking about being able to impact churches across the nation. And now this is a reality for you.
Yep. Yeah. It's incredible. It's really incredible.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add to people that are watching this today that are, thinking about the opportunity to come to EXP Commercial? What would you say to them?
Well, life is moving so fast for me right now. I was next to the global booth at EXP Con, but I didn't dare go talk to them, because then I would have just gotten busier.
That's a good problem to have, Dan.
Yeah, for sure. I thought, I'm going to wait to talk to those guys because I can only be in so many places at once. But I really see a lot of opportunities in churches that were built around the world, a lot in countries that are a lot older than America, make good repurposing properties. And there's a huge business in that, repurposing and remodeling and all that type of thing. And then putting churches in other properties that are more appropriate, that actually have parking and so on. Because a lot of churches were built in the church in the horse and buggy days, and very underparked.
Well,
there's one more thing I wanted to say, Dan, and this is something that you do that I love, and I've actually done this before too, but not at the level you do. And that's where you help churches share the same space. So you can have more than one church in one building, which allows an opportunity for churches that aren't at that level where they can afford to lease or purchase their own building. Can you speak to that just a little bit?
Yeah. So a lot of churches that start out, it's really hard for them to afford to pay prices, even in a small 12 to 1,500 square foot space, plus power and everything. And you only have a handful of people, maybe 35 or 40 people. And so we work it out with other churches that don't mind sharing with a small church to use their facility on certain days and times throughout the week. And it works really well. And we just charge a little flat fee to help them get started. We're building a future customer. When they grow up and they really need real estate services, they're going to come back. And we're just serving them. But, you serve God by serving people. That's the way it works. And really helping that work. And so a lot of times the host appreciates the extra $1,000 or $1,500 in cash flow every month. The church that's, the guest is glad not to have to pay $3,000 or $3,500 a month, and they're in for $1,500 or $1,200, whatever they negotiate, and it works out really well. And what's really important, one thing that we've done is we've developed a license agreement for that, because churches being nonprofit have to protect their nonprofit status by not doing business like the regular business world does. So a lease would kind of indicate that they're doing business and they're making a profit. And so we do this license sharing type thing where it's two nonprofits. They're sharing space, they're sharing their power bill, they're sharing the expenses of the building, and it protects their nonprofit status.
I love that you're
awesome.
a servant heart like that. And then you're creating future customers too.
For a long time as well, because you're there from the start of it, which is exactly, the model to land new business. Dan, I love this. I'm so glad that you came on Global Domination today. I love that EXP has done for you exactly what Glenn Sanford and everyone intended for it to do for all of us. And, I think there's a big moral here, and I'm going to say this because it's so true. I am never going to begin to ever understand how to do what you do when it comes to representing churches. But I'm glad now that I've got a guy who knows how to do it, because I love referral fees and we're going to do business together. So anybody watching today, make sure you message Dan Klatt, reach out to him. If you've got a church opportunity, it would be an amazing opportunity. So thank you all so much. Lisa Marie, great show.
Yes.
Thank you
for
really
joining us. Thank you for being here.